You haven't answered a call in 4 months. Your phone lights up with notifications, birthdays, invitations, someone asking if you're okay. You watch the screen glow in the dark like a distant star, and you let it fade to black. No guilt, no explanation, just silence. And here's what nobody understands. You're not hiding. You're recalibrating. You're existing in a different frequency now, one most people can't even perceive. They call you detached, the ghost, the one who vanished without a trace. But here's the quantum truth they're missing. What if you didn't disappear? What if you simply stopped collapsing your wave function for people who could never observe your true state? What if you're not gone? You're just finally existing in your natural form, unobserved, unpressured, whole? Before we go deeper into this cosmic journey, I want to invite you to become part of our community. If this resonates with your soul, if you've ever felt like you're operating on a different wavelength than everyone around you, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button and share this with someone who might need to hear it. We're building a sanctuary here for those who understand that sometimes the most profound connections happen in solitude. Your support helps us continue exploring these depths together. Now let's dive into the quantum mechanics of the isolated soul. Let's talk about quantum mechanics for a moment. In the quantum realm, particles exist in superposition in multiple states at once until they're observed. The moment someone looks, the wave function collapses, and the particle is forced into a single definable state. Your relationships worked exactly like this. You didn't become cold overnight. You became exhausted from constant observation. For years, you were everyone's particle, collapsing yourself into whatever state they needed. The supportive friend, the reliable partner, the one who always had energy for other people's emergencies. You showed up to their 3 a.m. crises. You remembered the small details of their lives like you were studying for an exam. You rearranged your universe to orbit around theirs. Then one day, you experienced your own quantum collapse. Your world shattered, and you needed someone to observe your pain, to witness your multiple fractured states. You reached out across the void. The response: static. Radio silence from every star you thought would shine back. Maybe one faint signal, a half-hearted, "hope you're okay," that flickered and died. Maybe someone said they'd reach back. They never did. Your consciousness started doing something extraordinary then. It began mapping the energy exchange, calculating the thermodynamics of every relationship. How much light were you emitting? How much were you receiving back? The data materialized like constellations in your mind, and every pattern pointed to the same devastating truth. You were a sun, burning yourself out to warm planets that had already turned their dark sides toward you. In quantum physics, there's a phenomenon called entanglement. Two particles become connected in such a way that the state of one instantly affects the other, no matter the distance. You thought that's what you had. Soul connections. People who were entangled with your essence, who would feel your shifts and respond across any void. But here's where the universe taught you its cruelest lesson. True entanglement is rare. Most of what you thought was connection was actually just proximity. They weren't entangled with your frequency. They were just passing through your orbit. And the moment you stopped providing gravitational pull, they drifted away, as if you'd never existed at all. Your nervous system, this ancient cosmic antenna, started picking up signals you'd ignored before. Every time you opened yourself, every time you vibrated at your authentic frequency, you'd eventually find yourself alone, resonating in an empty chamber. The friend who disappeared when your energy dimmed. The lover who left when your light wasn't convenient for their journey. Your neural pathways learned a fundamental law of your personal universe. Vulnerability equals eventual void. So you started controlling the only variable in your gravitational field that you could. You stopped letting things orbit too close. You became the black hole, not because you wanted to consume or destroy, but because you needed a boundary that nothing could cross. And here's the cosmic irony that breaks people's understanding. A black hole doesn't feel empty inside. It feels protected. It feels whole. But this quantum isolation didn't begin in your adult consciousness. Somewhere in your childhood universe, when your neural networks were first forming, when you were trying to understand the physics of love and connection, you learned that people are fundamentally unstable particles. Maybe you had a parent who existed in superposition, there and not there simultaneously. Physically present but emotionally collapsed into an unreachable state. Maybe you were the child who learned to navigate your own cosmic storms alone because asking for help meant being told your feelings were too heavy, too much, taking up too much space in someone else's reality. Maybe your emotions were treated like matter that didn't matter. Don't be so sensitive. Other kids have real problems. So you learned the foundational equation that would govern your entire relational physics. Needing someone equals pain. Your developing consciousness absorbed this while your neural universe was still forming its first galaxies, still trying to understand the laws that govern human connection. Those early experiences became your cosmological constant. They set the curvature of your relational space-time. Every adult connection that followed simply moved along the paths those early traumas carved into your psyche. You weren't choosing isolation. You were following the only trajectory your early universe taught you was safe. Eventually, everyone drifts away. Eventually, the warmth goes cold. Your nervous system didn't wire itself around pessimism. It wired itself around pattern recognition in a universe that kept proving the same theorem over and over. Now, here's where the cosmic psychology gets fascinating. People look at you and say you've built impenetrable walls, barriers made of ice and indifference. But that's not what you created. You didn't build walls. You established event horizons. There's a quantum difference. Walls are solid, dead. They keep everything out indiscriminately. Event horizons are something far more sophisticated. They're boundaries in space-time itself, thresholds where the laws change, where only what belongs can pass through. Your event horizon doesn't keep everyone out. It keeps the wrong energies from collapsing your core. The challenge is this. After enough collisions with toxic particles, after enough exposure to people who drained your light, your event horizon expanded. It had to. Your survival system recognized that letting the wrong energy, and even once, could cause a collapse you might not recover from. So yes, your boundary looks like a wall from the outside. But from inside your universe, it's the membrane that's keeping your consciousness intact. And this matters on a cosmic scale. This phase you're in isn't about rejecting connection across all dimensions of reality. It's about refusing indiscriminate access to your inner cosmos. You didn't stop wanting communion with other souls. You stopped accepting anyone whose frequency was familiar but fundamentally destructive. You've become something extraordinary now. You've evolved into a quantum observer with unprecedented precision. You can detect abandonment patterns in the first few interactions, reading the subtle fluctuations in someone's energy field that others can't perceive. You see it in the friend who only emits signals when they need something extracted from your reserves. You can measure it in how they never ask about your internal state, never wonder about your quantum fluctuations. The person who's present when your energy is high, but vanishes the moment your frequency drops. You know the signature of every exit pattern now. The way their responses contract, growing shorter, more distant. The way "let's connect soon" becomes a phrase that exists in potential but never actualizes. The friend who swears they'll reach out when their chaos settles, but their chaos is eternal, a perpetual storm they use as a shield. Psychologists call this hypervigilance, but that term doesn't capture the full dimensionality of what you've developed. You haven't become paranoid. You've become cosmically accurate. You're reading quantum signatures that most humans move through blindly. The microshifts in vibrational tone. The convenient excuses that always bend space-time in their favor. The way energy only flows in one direction, always toward them, never toward you. Your pattern recognition isn't negativity. It's data from 1,000 parallel universes where you gave people chances, where you hoped this time would be different, where you collapsed yourself again and again only to find the same outcome across every timeline. You're not pessimistic. You're empirical. And the evidence across infinite iterations keeps validating your theory. You've learned to speak the language that people emit when they're emotionally unavailable, when they exist in dimensions they won't let you access. You can translate the real meaning behind every "I've been swamped." Every promise to reconnect becomes predictable in its decay. Every "we should definitely meet up" dies at exactly the moment your internal calculations predicted. You've observed this pattern replicate across so many consciousnesses that you stopped being surprised by its appearance. Now you just interrupt the cycle. Not with drama or grand pronouncements. Quietly, cosmically. You stop initiating contact. You stop trying to bridge the void. You wait to see if they notice your absence in their orbit. Most don't. That silence, that complete lack of gravitational response, tells you everything your soul needed to know. And here's the truth that splits reality open. The loneliest you ever felt wasn't when you cut everyone off and floated into your own space. It was before. It was sitting in a room full of people and feeling like you were broadcasting on a frequency no one was tuned to. It was being in a relationship and still feeling like you were alone on a cosmic scale, fundamentally unseen. The physical isolation didn't create the loneliness. It just stopped pretending the loneliness wasn't the base state of your universe all along. Here's what defies people's understanding of human psychology. The isolation doesn't devastate you the way they expect. The solo celebrations, the birthday where your phone stays dark and quiet, the crisis you navigate by yourself because there's no signal to send, no one close enough to receive it. Everyone predicted you'd collapse without external validation, without the constant confirmation that you exist in someone else's consciousness. Instead, you discovered something mystical. Quiet became your natural frequency. Solitude became the space where you could finally hear your own cosmic hum without interference. The void wasn't empty. It was full of you, pure and undiluted. People ask why you choose isolation over connection, but they're using the wrong framework. For you, isolation isn't the opposite of connection. Isolation is the absence of rejection. It's the one dimension where you can't be abandoned because there's no one close enough to your core to leave. You've created a universe where the only consciousness that can hurt you is your own, and you've learned to be gentle with yourself in ways others never were. You're not cold. You're clear. You're not closed off. You're cosmically protected. This isn't surrender. This isn't admitting defeat in the game of human connection. This is refusing to accept the corrupted version of connection that's been offered across every timeline you've experienced. It's saying, if this is what relationships are in this dimension, constant energy drain, endless performance, waiting for people who never materialize, then I choose a different reality. I choose none. And here's the quantum truth nobody transmits to you about choosing yourself. It's not selfish. It's the most fundamental act of cosmic self-preservation. It's recognizing that you can't keep radiating energy into people who treat you like a resource, something to extract from when they're depleted, something to forget when they're full. You know what's wild? You're not the villain in their stories, no matter what narrative they construct when you're not there to defend your truth. You're just a consciousness that finally stopped waiting for people to show up and started showing up for yourself in every dimension of your existence. Maybe one day, in some future timeline, you'll try again. Maybe you'll encounter someone whose frequency harmonizes with yours instead of disrupting it. Maybe you'll find souls who show up without you having to collapse yourself into forms that beg for basic recognition. Maybe consciousness will surprise you. But right now, in this present moment, you're protecting the part of yourself that still remembers what it felt like to hope, that still carries that original light you were born with. You're keeping that quantum flame alive by refusing to let anyone extinguish it again. Because cutting everyone off isn't the absence of love. It's the presence of profound self-preservation. It's your nervous system, your soul, your entire being finally transmitting a clear signal. Enough. You're not cold. You're surviving in the way your unique consciousness needs to survive. You're not giving up. You're finally prioritizing yourself across all dimensions of your existence. And the boundaries you established, the event horizons you created, they're not keeping you trapped in some dark dimension. They're keeping you cosmically intact. They're giving you the space to heal, to integrate, to become someone who might one day be ready to try connection again, but only on terms that honor the frequency you truly are. You're here now, in the quiet, in the space you cleared by releasing everything that was slowly dimming your light. It's not the ending people wanted for you. It's not the story arc they expected. It's the one that's keeping your core consciousness whole. It's the one that's letting you exist in your natural state without constantly collapsing into forms that serve everyone but yourself. The universe works in mysterious ways. Sometimes the most profound connection you can make is with yourself. Sometimes the deepest love you can experience is the love that happens when you finally stop abandoning yourself for people who were never going to stay. Sometimes isolation isn't emptiness. Sometimes it's the fullest your universe has ever been. If this resonated across the dimensions of your consciousness, I invite you to share this with someone who might need to hear it. Drop a comment below and let me know what part of this spoke to your soul. Are you in this phase right now? Have you been here before? What does your quantum isolation feel like? I read every comment, and I want you to know that your experience, your frequency, your truth matters here. This is a judgment-free zone where we're exploring the deepest patterns of human consciousness, not criticizing them, not trying to fix them, but understanding them. You're not broken. You're not damaged. You're a consciousness that's learning how to exist in a way that doesn't cost you everything. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this space with me. Until the next transmission, protect your energy, honor your frequency, and remember that sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is choose yourself. Stay cosmic. Stay whole. And I'll see you in the next dimension.